Dude, ODST LASO, like, is like baby difficulty, dude. Like, it's not even hard, because, you know, like, ODST is, you know, the easiest game, so, like, LASO then is, like, probably pretty easy, too.
Halo 3 ODST LASO is not the worst thing I've ever done, and is definitely one of the easier LASOs. That being said, it is still LASO, which means it still fucking sucks. And despite being overall easier, one level in particular I would say is the most frustrating level I've done since Cairo Station on Halo 2. But we'll get to that. So I'm a Frog, and this video is about Halo 3 ODST TUV LASO, which is Legendary All Skulls on, skulls just being game modifiers that make it way harder than plain old Legendary. There are two LASO playlists on MCC, one doesn't have Mombasa streets, but I'll be playing the one that does so I can at least enjoy the open world of ODST and the sweet sounds of sad Marty music. Let's hop in. Our journey begins with the rookie being antisocial, he's literally me, while the rest of the boys that make up Alpha 9, Dutch, Romeo, and Benedict Arnold are monitoring the situation. Nathan Fillion enters alongside the lady from Battlestar Galactica, who apparently completed all the Vidmaster challenges, and after getting briefed, Romeo wakes a rookie up by breaking his jaw. Your first interaction with the only black character in the squad is getting assaulted by him. What did Bungie mean by this? While falling in a drop pod, as ODSTs tend to do, the Big Covenant ship jumps to hyperspace, which throws the squad's drop pods all over the place, and an unknown amount of time afterwards, we wake up in the now nighttime streets of New Mombasa. Like every Halo LASO except CE, Twilight of Man, you can't see my HUD because of the blind skull that hides it and my weapon, blah blah blah. Most importantly, this hides your reticle. To negate this somewhat, i.e. cheat, I was using a digital reticle on my computer screen. Then I decided this was lame, and if I'm gonna cheat, I should at least put the effort in to do it with a physical piece of tape on my monitor with a black dot. One change from Halo 3 is that in ODST, brutes have an extra layer of shield, so on LASO with the tilt skull, human weapons are completely useless against brutes until their armor is gone, meaning I'd need to rely on backsmacks and overcharges. Even if something hilarious happens, like a grunt accidentally sticking a brute for me, this doesn't even take the brute's armor off. Enemies spam grenades on LASO because of the catch skull, and this led to me getting stuck for my first death. And on solo, the iron skull makes you restart the entire level if you die, but thankfully you can bypass it by just saving and quitting real fast. On co-op, it doesn't restart the whole level if someone dies, it just reverts checkpoints, so this game is basically punishing me for playing solo instead of yucking it up with some stupid co-op partner.
Hey Frog, are you ever gonna do a collab with...
No. After dispatching the first few groups of enemies, I made my way through the open world city despite blind removing my objective markers because I've played this game enough times to know where to go.
No maidens.
What the fuck? Last thing I want to make clear before we really get into it, I did not use any guides for this playthrough. This is all me figuring things out as I go along and coming up with my own strategies. After dispatching a few more grunts in a courtyard, I moved inside another building where stuff seemed to have gone down over the previous hours as the hallways were filled with dead people and aliens, and it was kind of creepy. This is where ODST turns into a horror game. I held right bumper on a broken recon helmet, which triggered a cutscene where the rookie looks around and sees Dare's drop pod, and we go to the first real level, Tayeri Plaza. Immediately after landing in New Mombasa, Buck radios Dare. She asks him if he remembers the question he asked her the last night of their relationship.
What is bro doing?
Buck then notices Covenant heading to her location, and the level begins. I started by picking off grunts at long range before advancing, grabbing a plasma pistol and noob comboing brutes. This continued when I went to a new area that was nothing but brutes until I ran out of plasma pistol ammo and had to use a red plasma rifle instead. This didn't limit me too much though, the red plasma rifle is pretty based. At this point, to be honest, I was thinking this game's LASO might be too easy given that I was mowing down the enemies like a snake in my front yard, rip in peace my slithery friend. I thought that maybe I should do this with a new rule, like I can't save and quit and have to do every level deathless. I ultimately decided not to though because I don't hate myself. Then I encountered the worst enemies in ODST LASO, shielded jackals. The main reason being the ODST pistol isn't powerful enough to make them flinch by shooting them in the hand. My guess is because of the mythic skull, which doubles enemy health, so if you're face to face with the jackal who has a shield up, you have to find means of killing him other than the classic hand then headshot. If you overcharge their shield, they throw their hands up over their head, blocking headshots, and run away until their shield comes back and you're back to square one. And again, Mythic doubles health, so killing them just with body shots isn't really an option. If you throw a grenade, they'll just dodge, and even if they don't dodge, grenades don't do nearly enough damage to kill them. Grenades sure can still kill me though. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is that sometimes you'll notice my screen is pink or red and doesn't go back to normal. That's because my stamina is low, which is basically just shields in this game, and the black eye skull makes it so your stamina only recharges by mailing an enemy or grabbing a health pack. There are more skulls, but that's the last one I think is important enough to spend time explaining. If you want to know the rest, the full list is on your screen. So with the high number of jackals in this area, I found this silly fight that I've never before thought twice about to actually be the toughest part of the entire level. This still wasn't terrible though, like obviously I've gone through much worse in the history of these stupid LASO videos, but my score was rapidly dropping in comparison to Colbert's 69, so I really needed to pull this together. In the next area, my Marines were getting pelted by grenades, which was a good distraction for me to get headshots, and this part was more awkward than tough. It had brutes alongside jackals, but the brutes were too far away for me to overcharge from the safe spot, and my attempts to cross-map them were in vain. So I moved downstairs and took them head-on, being sure to look out for sniper jackals before they could cap me. You expected me to play the clip again, didn't you? A couple hunters showed up, and if you remember from my ODST firefight video, which of course you do because all of you watch all my videos, what did mean in the end is I lost like 10 lives to one pair of hunters, and sure enough, these two LASO hunters handed me another death. Individually, the hunters aren't bad. What throws me off is when they're right next to each other, then I get scared. But the second time around, I got them isolated from one another, and after running out of assault rifle ammo, I simply bludgeoned the first to death before shotgunning the second. I continued advancing until I found Dare's drop pod, where a strange creature holding Dare's helmet said howdy do to Buck, only for Romeo to snipe it through the face, leading to it exploding and launching Dare's helmet to where the rookie found it later. Oh my god! Romeo speculates Dare is dead, idiot. Buck says he wants to gather the squad, and that was Tayari in 21 minutes of game time. That doesn't count me saving and quitting and reloading and spending time in the menus though. I was now back in the nighttime streets of New Mombasa while Marty was cooking with the music, really feeding into the noir vibes.
It was a dark and stormy night in New Mombasa. These streets, they aren't what they used to be. We got aliens patrolling every corner, and a 25-year-old gentleman who pretends to be a frog on the internet.
I encountered a few brutes wrestling with another flying squid and made sure to murder it. I paused the game for a few minutes to text my grandma before finding the next clue and triggering level 2, Uplift Reserve. This level sees me take the role of Dutch 30 minutes after the drop as he goes to the zoo to see the pandas, but unfortunately they're being guarded by apes and not the NFT kind. On your typical legendary playthrough, this level is very easy to just drive straight through without even worrying about enemies. I was a bit worried though because of the black eye skull, so I actually spent time killing guys. I didn't kill everything though, I still drove past some stuff. I'm gonna shut up for a second, you have to watch how bad my driving was here.
Dead. I don't know.
That's too bad. We're gonna need all the men we can get.
Warn the chieftain. The enemy has breached our lines.
Kill that goat before it raises the alarm.
I have no idea how I survived that, but I'll take it. Almost all of my deaths in the level came in this section. There are choppers and wraiths and turrets and lions and tigers and bears, oh my. I didn't even try to just drive through this part right away, so I don't know if it's possible or not. After thinning the enemies to about a Norwood 3, I drove through the rest and just barely made it with my health critically low. A good thing about this level though is that there's health packs everywhere. And that basically just sums up this level. I drove past stuff.
No human escape to say what they have seen.
Go! Fuck! I drove past the last group of enemies and off a cliff where Dutch asks for a sign from God and a plane crashes, signaling that God hates Spirit Airlines. That was Uplift in about 16.5 minutes. Now back as a rookie again, instead of sad piano music, Marty hits us with the mysterious piano music. In ODST's open world, there are hidden audio logs that when you find, you get a bunch of stuff, one of which being supply caches hidden around the city. And because I'm a nerd, I already had all the audio logs unlocked, which means I had access to the supply caches, but I didn't really use them though. I could have gotten a mongoose from one and drove around, but I thought fighting Covenant in the streets and dying periodically was better for content, especially when it involves being chased by hunters and not having the weapons to deal with them until after dying like 5 times, you eventually decide to just outrun them to the next loading zone. I walked through a building, then out to a balcony where a broken turret was highlighted yellow and activated level 3 Kazingo Boulevard. This level sees me take over as Mickey and is this game's tank level. Oh boy! That's my Mickey Mouse impression because his name is Mickey. In one of my old videos, I said Kazingo Boulevard had the best tank section in all of Halo, and I stand by that despite immediately dying here after getting in said tank. My second attempt at this first fight went about the same, but as my grandpa always said,
Stop running in the goddamn house.
well, he also used to say third time's a charm. Tank sections are usually the easiest part of all my LASO playthroughs, but because of the brute's extra shielding in ODST combined with the tilt skull, the tank is not very good at killing them in this game, or at least not as good as in Halo 3 LASO. It was still mostly fine, I just had to hang back and shoot guys, but I did have a few deaths along the way. I got to blow up a Phantom, which is always cool until my comments make fun of me for how I say Phantom. In the next area, I tried to blow another Phantom up, except this happened. Alright, before I knew it, I had regrouped with the Dutchman and proceeded fighting on foot. I gave Dutch a rocket launcher, by the way. After getting brute-shotted for a death, I fought my way into the Kazingo Bazingo, where I destroyed a Wraith with my fist despite not being a genetically modified cyborg and successfully defended the boulevard with no more deaths. I didn't realize it was over though, and I ran around a bit more because I had my AirPods in and couldn't hear Dutch over the sound of Dreamhouse by Def Heaven. Dutch and Mickey recreate the Predator handshake meme, then a police officer asks for help and Mickey asks if they're being detained or if they're free to go. My final time on Kazingo Boulevard was 2319.
2319!
We have a 2319!
Immediately after becoming the rookie again, a Phantom appeared, and upon exiting the building, I was greeted by a pack of brutes, and I was once again brute shotted. My second try, I killed the brutes only for a couple sniper jackals to start shooting at me. Thankfully, this wasn't Halo 2 LASO, and they missed every shot. I went to the now nighttime Kazingo Boulevard, where I didn't realize until it was too late that the area was flooded by enemies. Before they could kill me, I waved the white flag and saved and quit to go to my last checkpoint, but unbeknownst to me, I didn't have a checkpoint and was back at the building where I started. After killing the brutes, sniper jackals, and walking the lonely road, I made it back to the Boulevard of Broken Dreams. This time around, I played the Boulevard more cautiously, took out a camo brute, then was face to face with the worst enemy type in the game yet again. I tried to flank him, but ran headfirst into a brute shot and died yet again. But this time I had a checkpoint at least, which gave me the confidence to be aggressive and clear the area my next try. I found a detonated explosive thing in a blown up building across the river. It doesn't take a genius to figure this one out. And so begins level 4, Oni Alpha Site, which has me back as a lovable Dutch alongside Mickey. Mickey tells you to arm the charges on the bridge, but you actually have the option to just nod and let him do it using his mouse tool. I had a sniper rifle, which was completely useless, except against hunters after blowing their backs out. And from here, this area turns into survival against waves of enemies. I was very surprised to learn you can still one-shot race with the laser even on LASO. I didn't have any deaths out here. This part was pretty easy, and eventually a female Marine that sounds like a baddie yelled at me to retreat inside for another holdout section. This level has basically only 3 areas, and in 2 of them you just hold out against waves of enemies. This section was unique though because it had my first ever encounter with a brand new enemy type, flying suicide grunts. Watch the replay of that, like he literally flew to me. Actually he didn't fly, he was propelled by a grenade explosion. Thank you, Midwit YouTube commenter, for clearing that up. A brute got mad and launched half my Marines down elevator shafts. I gave Mickey a laser so he wouldn't be useless, but he still found a way to be useless anyway. A couple Phantoms started dropping guys off behind us, and Mickey got tossed down the elevator shaft. After killing everyone, I made sure to collect ammo. Wait, how did Mickey get back up here? A group of bug people attacked, but I refused to live in the pod. Then the final fight took place on the roof. This was the second longest level for me thus far, but that has less to do with it being tough and more to do with just the structure of the level being almost all holdouts. I had 2 deaths the whole level, and one of them involved the rare flying grunts, so it doesn't really count. And that leaves only 1 death, and 1 death is basically nothing, so really when you think about it, I actually did Oni Alpha Site deathless. My final time was 21:18, by the way. As the game cut back, I heard 2 things: Marty Piano and a random grenade explosion. I don't know what that could have been. I walked back to the boulevard where a Phantom was dropping troops off, and I tried to just run by them only to get sniped by a jackal and then obliterated by a couple jetpack brutes. My anger was righteous and my vengeance was swift as I massacred the enemies my second try. I found a dead hunter, then his partner, and united the 2 in hunter heaven, then found a broken sniper rifle on a wire to start the next level in MPD HQ. For the first and only time in this game, this level has you play as Romeo alongside Buck. And being Romeo, you get the sniper rifle. As you can probably guess based on the level title,
unless you're stupid,
we're at the police headquarters. Utamizi na Kuhi Fathi. My furniture just started floating. The sniper rifle is useless against brutes on LASO, but I could at least use it to snipe grunts, and once I did find a plasma pistol, it was game over for the Covenant. That is, until they killed me via brute shot. In another area, I was reminded that the carbine is a terrible weapon, and its inability to shoot straight led to me getting sniped. You could call that a skill issue, to which I would say, nah, you're probably right. I sidestepped a turret chieftain, chased a grunt outside, jumped across a giant beam, and regrouped with Dutch and Mickey at their Crash Pelican, where this very quick level ends with a holdout fight against waves of Phantoms and Banshees. I had 1 death here because a brute threw a grenade at my feet that I didn't see, but that was it. This wasn't hard at all. That was another level where I only died twice. Unfortunately, this means that the specter of Coastal Highway grows ever closer. A cutscene plays where a chieftain shows up and obliterates a cop before using the back of the hammer on Romeo instead of the front for no reason, allowing Romeo to live, and the rest of the squad answers the 100 men versus 1 gorilla question. It felt way shorter because I spent half the level on a missile pod, but apparently NMPD took me over 24 minutes. We go back to the rookie where a Phantom dropped guys off directly on top of me. I killed a sniper jackal, took his beam rifle, then sniped a brute and made my escape. The tables were turned on me a minute later when I rounded a corner and immediately got sniped, but I didn't die. And I made it to the final clue, having had 0 deaths in this level if you consider this to be a real level. Now as Buck 1 hour before the rookie awakens, we give Romeo a hit of foam outside a train station and move inside, except instead of riding the city's light rail, we decided safer to just fight the Covenant. I picked off enemies with a beam rifle and was trying to kill one of the friendly squids until I was hit with karma in the form of a plasma grenade. I learned Mickey throws grenades like I throw a baseball, and he commandeered a Phantom while I grabbed a Banshee. Not only are there no Banshee levels in Halo 3, I don't even think you have a chance to get on a Banshee at any point, so this is something unique to ODST. And this is a cool level in the regular game, but not so much on LASO. Mostly because the Banshee can't kill anything fast. Even just shooting grunts and jackals, it takes forever. We were fighting a bunch of Covenant on a walkway until I fell too far and flew around, and when I got back around the building, all the Covenant we were just fighting disappeared. I guess I'm just that good. The worst part of this level on LASO are enemy Banshees because blowing one up takes about 20 minutes. And later on, engineers start showing up, which exacerbate this even more by giving extra shields to the Banshee pilots and each other. AA Race make their first appearance of the game here. I didn't even know Race could be alcoholics. The most enjoyable section of the level for me was when you get out and fight Covenant on foot. There's nothing quite like easily sidestepping a brute chieftain and knifing him in the back. The final area of the level sees me take on a Scarab, the only one of the game. I tried taking out its kneecaps and chased a Banshee that had been shooting at me, but in the process got blown up by the Scarab. Then my next life I got impatient and just tried to land on the Scarab right away, only to get obliterated. But okay, I landed on the Scarab, got to its power core, and grenaded it until it exploded. Now to get to my Banshee and make my great escape. I'm going to become a fucking terrorist. Okay, I killed the Scarab, got away from it as fast as possible, went into the end tunnel and blew some stuff up, and Buck remembers Dare in the cutscene, and that's another level down, this one the new longest at 29 minutes and 15 seconds. And spoiler alert, it's soon to get beat. Veronica Dare came on the radio looking for help, so as a rookie, it's my job to step up and fix her. After spawn, I started going to the right path, saw a hunter, and then decided to go to the left path instead. I killed a couple jetpack brutes, no big deal, but what was a big deal were the brutes and sniper jackal guarding my objective, which as you can see includes a fuel rod chieftain and multiple brute shotters. I ran out of plasma pistol ammo almost immediately and tried rushing the chieftain, which worked out how you'd expect. I didn't have any other ideas though, and my second attempt I actually did manage to kill the chieftain by rushing him, only to then get brute shotted. Surely I'll get this soon, right? When I finally got through, I had given up the hope of actually killing the enemies and instead just ran past them and somehow survived to trigger the door where Rookie slides down an elevator cable. This leads me to Data Hive, my favorite level in the game by a mile and one that I actually have a legendary world record on. Granted, it was on 4-player co-op and my only job was to help block Dare, but still. I tried to be stealthy and sneak up on a grunt only to immediately blow my cover. ODST is a notoriously short game, and I love almost all the levels in this game, don't get me wrong, but this is the first one that actually feels like a complete level where things happen and you go to a lot of different areas and do different things. My deaths were about the same though, like getting stuck by a grenade. I battled through the halls until I came across a police officer who didn't seem suspicious at all, and we were ambushed by predator drones. One, I don't know how they didn't kill me because my health was beeping for this entire fight, and two, the SMG is the best weapon for drones and it takes 0 skill to kill them with it, but I didn't have one. Thankfully, you can actually headshot drones with a pistol, which I got kind of good at during my firefight video. I juggled a carbine to the next room, punched out a drone, and now had my cop friend by my side, and by that I mean up ahead drawing all the attention for me. How in the world did that miss? I shot more government drones in the head and punched more regular drones directly in the face. One nice thing about this level is that there are grunts and jackals everywhere, so I was never without a plasma pistol, and that made killing the brutes pretty easy, especially with Philip Brailsford leading the way. I opened up another piston thing where normally the cop would get killed by bugs, but because I have all the audio logs, he stays with me longer for a bit of bonus content. Unfortunately, he couldn't save me from getting exploded. I ran out of plasma pistol ammo as a brute was rushing me, and I panicked and stuck him, which didn't take his armor off, so I stuck him again, which also didn't take his armor off. The policeman went in a room and told me to wait outside, which is the exact opposite of what he should have told me, as I followed him inside and he tried to kill me. I guess you can't headshot him because I was obliterating his face, but he wasn't dying and I thought I was dead until I blew him up with an exploding pineapple. Come back here, bird. I knocked on a door and Dare opened it, only to be disappointed that it wasn't Buck coming to deliver his package, and she told me that we had to go through the beehive to get to the superintendent. So at least I had backup for the rest of the level. That was Dare's grenade that just killed me. I ignored an invite from Sloth, stayed behind Dare so she wouldn't blow me up again, got in a head-to-head fight with a drone, got blown up by Dare again, continued fighting, got killed by one jackal that didn't even have a shield, and walked with Dare through the hive. I tried sniping the bugs with a beam rifle, which on regular legendary one-shots them, but quickly realized my best bet was to still just try to headshot them with the carbine. I had some close calls here, but staying back and letting them focus on Dare was a winning strategy. We got to the outside of the superintendent's office where I smacked all 3 brutes outside, and we entered to meet the superintendent only for an adorable alien to pop out instead. The human urge to give every creature we find head scratches. Buck shows up and we race to go save him before the brutes dismember him. We also have to escort the engineer, but he's not very hard to keep alive. Well, not yet anyway. And he does give us extra shields. We got to an elevator and that was Data Hive in 35 minutes and 23 seconds, which means, oh no. Buck tells the engineer it smells, so Dare punches him in the face, and they make out while Rookie and Virgil awkwardly watch. Now it's time for the worst level in the game. I've always hated this level on regular Legendary, so I expected it to be a doozy on LASO, but I still was not prepared for the depths that we would fall to here. So it starts with basic fighting Covenant in the streets. I got team killed by another grenade, because why not? I found a sniper rifle that I never knew existed before. Ouch. And okay, that's the first area clear. I grabbed a rocket launcher from a box and carried forth with the graveyard crew to another elevator, which took us up to the highway, where 5 minutes into their new relationship, Buck and Dare start arguing, not looking too good for them. The engineer pilots a garbage truck, invites Dare on board, and Buck and I have to escort them, and this is where things get the opposite of fun. I gave Buck my rocket launcher and put him in the passenger seat because I figured that was better than him being on the turret, but if I was stuck by grunts, it didn't really matter where Buck was seated. My third try, I decided to just floor it past the grunts, but the door was shut, and while waiting, I got hit by a Tom Brady grunt from long range. So on try 4, I decided to rock the turret for a bit to let Dare get to the door, and this time successfully made it. In area 2, I headed straight for the door and made it and thought I was gonna get through first try, but at the last second, a brute boarded me and killed me. No matter, surely I had a checkpoint. Oh, excuse me for 1 second. Fuck! This time around, I decided to do 2 things different. 1, get out and grab a fuel rod cannon for Buck because I thought it would be better against brutes given the tilt skull, and 2, kill every grunt to ensure I got a checkpoint. After getting stuck and dying in the second area, this was tested and... we are so back. I wanted to kill everyone in Section 2 as well for the same reason, to make sure I got a checkpoint. Unfortunately, I ran out of pistol ammo and wouldn't have a precision weapon for the rest of the highway. But despite Buck's best efforts to team kill me, we cleared the area. It hasn't really come into play yet, but if I could just stay back and be slow and kill everyone, this wouldn't be that hard. What makes this part suck is that you have to keep Dare and Virgil alive, and if you aren't aggressively pushing up and killing Covenant, they will get obliterated. So slow playing it and being safe simply isn't an option. After clearing Area 3, my first try, which included a bug fight, we advanced to Area 4, which is the last one before this level becomes horrible. I didn't kill everyone, but the only guys left alive were far enough away that I figured it didn't matter. Area 5 sucks mega ass because this is where ghosts show up, which not only were a threat to me, but were an even bigger threat to Dare, and I had my first save and quit, not to me dying, but to them dying.
Veronica, no!
On try 2, I tried rushing to the door right away, then getting in the gun and helping shoot. We actually made it inside the next set of doors, and we got a Gosshog. To my absolute shock, we made it, but I was worried that I didn't have a checkpoint since ghosts were still alive. With the Gosshog, I figured I should do the same strategy here, let Buck shoot the fuel rod while I get out and gun. But to counteract our increased firepower, this section has ghosts and banshees and was approximately 27 times harder than the last. Dare died and it was time for a reset, but I was scared of my checkpoint situation and... okay, I had a checkpoint at least. Let's count how many resets I had in this part.
Got the Oliphant? Veronica, no!
Shields are down.
Got the Oliphant?
My shields can't take my... Okay, shields are back to full.
My god, after all those resets, we finally cleared it. But we aren't done yet. The next area is even worse with banshees, ghosts, and a wraith. One other element that makes this terrible I haven't even mentioned yet is that Buck has scripted dialogue throughout this level, and while he's speaking, he will not shoot. This section is the worst for that. He has a bunch of lines at the very start, so after firing a couple shots early, he'll do nothing for like 10 straight seconds. My strat here was to hijack the wraith, then hijack the ghost to eliminate them, and then hope everyone focused on Buck instead of Dare. Here on my second try, I accidentally triggered the next part really early and had to get in a tank without Buck and with Dare way ahead of me. I thought Dare was dead for sure, but I actually managed to kill everything with her still alive. There was just one last AA Wraith and it was shooting at Dare, but Dare was out of its range, so whatever. I killed the AA Wraith. Its last shots are flying towards me, so let me just cross the other side of the highway and... you have got to be fucking kidding me. And hey, wouldn't you know it, I didn't have a checkpoint, so I'm back in the Gosshog. Surely I'll at least get past this again soon, right?
In one piece.
I was so mad by Mercer Mayer. I wanted to play with my little sister's dollhouse, but Dad wouldn't let me. I was so mad. I would like to remind you, I literally had made it past this my second try and cleared the entire next area only to get killed by stray fuel rod shots and reverted 2 load zones.
Shields are holding, but not...
I swear to God, my head right now, I feel like I could just... Finally, I made it out of this part. In game time, I was about an hour into the level, but in real time, I was over an hour and 20 minutes for whatever that's worth. This was by far the longest level of the game for me. And this time where I got past it, I don't know what I did different. I'm sure I played slightly better or whatever, but it probably mostly just boils down to luck. At least this time I had Buck on the side of the tank helping out. And with that, I made it through this area first try, in this timeline at least. Then got through the next area, taking out every single Phantom. I died twice in the next part, but that's kind of just child's play at this point. Derek gets shot by a scarab, whatever. We exit and go to a zoo entrance where we kill a few guys and have our final fight, which, yeah, is kind of just whatever at this point. The only notable thing that happened was Buck getting bullied into a corner by a hunter. I killed Covenant, and it wasn't very hard, and we boarded the Phantom, ending my nightmare. If you've watched this and my other LASO videos, you know that I'm pretty straight with saying which parts I think are hard and which are easy, and yeah, that was the most pissed off I've been playing LASO since Cairo Station on Halo 2. But hey, I did it, and that was the only LASO I hadn't done yet on MCC, so now I've done them all. I look forward to your endless When's the Halo 5 LASO video comments. If you like this video, be sure to check out all my LASO videos, starting with the one on screen. Shout out to my patrons like always for supporting the channel. Goodbye.